Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Talking Nerds Live. We finally got it right. Yay! Woo!
Yeah.
Welcome back to Talking Nerds Live every Tuesday at 7:30 Central, maybe-ish. And tonight we got a small group, as usual. Zach is not joining, I don't think. I don't think he is, as far as I know. But we got lots to talk about. So let's get into weeks. Let's start with Nick this week, though. We're going to go in opposite order. Nick, what have you been up to?
Well, let's see. I guess the biggest thing that I'm excited about is I got a new laptop. It's
nice.
it's an Asus TUF A16, which I'm not going to pretend like I know all about that because I knew nothing like a week ago.
He's a tough gamer now.
So far so good. It's nice.
Nice.
But we'll see. I haven't actually.
What was the GPU again on that?
I forget.
Was it a 4050 or something like that?
No, no, I did the AMD card,
that's right.
I did Intel. So I think I don't remember AMD as much, but I think it was like 77 something. 7700 something. But
yeah, I don't really know AMD.
I think that's the CPU. Do you remember what graphics card you got?
Oh, it's the Radeon graphics card.
That's like the brand. That's like the
RX.
It's like the RTX GeForce.
Well, that's NVIDIA, but Ryzen has the RX, and it should be like 7. It might be like 5600U or something. I don't know.
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Remember?
But
okay.
Yeah.
But cool. You gonna do some gaming on it?
I don't know. The main purpose I got it because I wanted it to have the capability to do gaming, but the main purpose would be running a business on it, and then audio editing, and then gaming third. So
nice.
We'll see.
What was the storage on that too?
512.
Okay.
It was 512. Yeah, the 1 terabyte, that was the slightly more expensive one. I didn't go with that one, but
I feel like 1 terabyte's not enough storage. I feel like I need like 4 terabytes, honestly.
Yeah.
But fair enough.
I'm not expecting to really.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Cool. And then I watched the first Star Trek, the original motion picture.
Is that because I was talking about it, or you just decided to watch it?
Well, yeah, you were talking about it, and I was like, oh, you know what? I'll give it a watch.
Nice. What'd you think?
It was. I respected it a lot, and I liked it because of what it is.
Yeah.
But it was very slow and drawn out. Like, it probably could have been a half-hour movie if you really sped it up a bit. And I'm not about just like, it doesn't have to be action 100% of the time, but some of those shots were just it was kind of psychedelic when they were inside the cloud.
Well, that's kind of what it is, though. It's that genre. It's the I guess technically it's the 1980s, but the influence is Star Trek from the 1970s. So, that's when all the psychedelic genre was, Pink Floyd is psychedelic music, that's when it was big. So I don't know. I like that stuff. It's kind of, it gives you that sci-fi vibe, it's out of this world. It's different, it's not from here. Whereas now modern day stuff, it's all the modern day politics that has to be shoved into it. And it doesn't feel like you're in a different world. It feels like you're in the same crappy world, So.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, fair enough. Nice.
So yeah, that was my past week pretty much.
Nice. Bluey.
Well, what have I done this week? Jujutsu Kaisen. I am on season 2. I've watched season 1 and the movie.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever had an anime make me this emotional.
Really?
Yeah.
So
that's me.
More
Anyways.
Than Attack on Titan.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Nice.
And so yeah, then I'd say the action phenomenal, story phenomenal. I'm loving it. I can't wait to get all the way through and then be stuck waiting for the next thing to come out, you know? Because I'm kind of flying through it. There's only 2 seasons plus a movie. So I'm already a season and a movie down, so I'm like halfway through what's available plus a couple episodes. But yeah. And then went to go see Argyle with Biggie.
Yes.
We'll talk about that.
We got lots to talk about for that.
Yeah. And then did I watch any other movies this week? We're gonna try to go see a movie on Thursday.
Yeah. There's nothing really out right now, but we're gonna try to see Boy and the Heron if we can. If it's still available.
Yeah.
But
yeah, other than that, we got an exciting thing coming up tonight that we'll get into. Hint. I have been playing. We played Battlefront.
You played Battlefront 2. That's right.
I was
totally forgot about that.
It was like right on the tip of my tongue, but I couldn't like pull it out. We played Battlefront 2. We got a recording. We might chop it up, throw it up on the YouTube, or maybe not chop it up and just give it to you raw. Who knows?
Yeah, we were just like, what should we play? We were just kind of scrolling. I was like, how about Battlefront 2? He's like, yeah.
I just have it on my computer ready to go, like waiting to play with someone.
Yeah.
The only downside to it is just how long the games you have to wait for the games. Because there's not a lot of people playing right now. But when you do get in, it's a blast.
It is a blast. It is a blast. Yes,
unless give it to them raw and wriggling.
Unless there's a Rey or a Kylo Ren bouncing around, then it's just miserable.
Oh yeah, you run into a Jedi, and it's yeah.
Rey, I was just like, and then Kylo Ren, I'm just like, oh, come on. It's always the guys swinging the lightsaber super quick, and you're like, you just spawned, and then you die, and you're like,
yeah, like. You have like a different type of fear when you see Darth Vader like coming down a hallway and you're just like
that's true. Darth Vader, he doesn't feel like an actual player. It feels like it's actually Darth Vader.
Yeah. And then General Grievous too, when he goes spider mode and he like
you were General Grievous for a bit.
I was at one point, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, my lord, I will follow you in battle.
And then I ran into another Jedi and died. So that was fun. Anyways,
yes.
All that to say, we got some exciting after the show. It is gonna be a shorter show, right?
It's gonna be a shorter show today because we are gonna be doing some gaming stuff later. So
with the one and only Buffalo Big.
Buffalo Big's joining us tonight.
Yeah.
So tune in because it'll never happen. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so
that's all for me. So
have a good time tonight.
I'm drinking some kombucha as well as
nice. Ghost Energy,
my last one.
Where do you guys?
I'm drinking mango tonight.
Oh,
tropical mango.
You can get them at 7-Eleven.
Yes. Yeah, I did like which flavor is that again? The
face pop.
Face pop. It's pretty good. I don't think it's my favorite. I don't think it's my favorite. One. No, it's not it's not the best one. The mango one's either the best one or orange dreamsicle.
You don't know what you're talking about. Face pop's the best.
Whatever. I really don't care, honestly.
I know you don't. That's why you just gave up.
It's like the Harrison Ford. I really don't care. Like, who shot first? Han Solo or Guido? He's like, I don't care. It's like, yes. Based. All right. So yeah. So what did I do? I tried to play some more Lies of P. And I decided that I'm going to give it a rest for a bit, because I could not defeat the Puppet King, sadly. He's tough, and I like wanted to actually have fun playing a video game, so I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna not play this for a while. So I started God of War. It's pretty fun, gotta say. Yeah, it feels kind of Souls-like in a way. Just although it's more cinematic, you know, it's more of a storyline, obviously. But the like blocking, like parrying, rolling, dodging, stuff like that is very Souls heavy. You have to, you know, time it. You got to be not so greedy with it. So yeah, it's been fun. I just started last night, so I haven't really gotten that far, but so far I'm liking it. I'll probably stick with it for a little bit. And then I finished the Star Trek movies. I finished number 6, and gotta say, another 5 stars. It was really good. Trying to remember what happened altogether, but I'm excited for you, Nick, to start this journey because it's good. It's great.
What was your favorite one of the 6?
Wrath of Khan.
Oh yeah,
easily. Yeah, Wrath of Khan's really good. It's probably got the most like classic classic Star Trek moments, I would say. It's got the best Spock moments for sure. But the 6th one is written by Leonard Nimoy and executive produced by him. And the story is amazing. It's very captivating. It's got a lot of twists to it. It's very like edge of your seat the entire time. I like immediately was captivated by it. So maybe we got to do a series on it eventually because it's good. But yeah, great villain. You thought characters, well, maybe I shouldn't say that, but really good.
No spoilers.
No spoilers, but yeah, I don't know. It's just like these movies are so clever. Like you think that the characters are in trouble, and the entire time they somehow figure out a way to get out of things, and it's just like you don't really see that much anymore. Either nowadays it's stupid reasons they get out of things, or you know, or just the villain ends up winning in the end, you know. It's refreshing. I'll say it's like you don't really see it that often. So yeah, 5 stars for sure. And then I started Star Trek Generations, which is basically the beginning of the next generation. Kind of like a connector film between the original cast and the next generation. I think the next generation came out in like 1987, and this one came out in like 1991. So it's pretty fresh at the time. But it's pretty good so far. They did something that I didn't really like. I don't think I'm enough of a Star Trek fan to really say like, oh yeah, this is definitely the poor decision. They should not have made this decision. And you'll see if you go down that path. But yeah, other than that, I thought it was pretty good. So yeah, I'm probably gonna go through those.
Patrick Stewart is so good too.
Yeah. So yeah, I've only watched like half of that movie, so I still got to finish that up. But so far, pretty decent. It was definitely a step down though from the original series, but I know nothing about the next generation, so we shall see. But yeah, alrighty. So let's get into our Argyle review. First, Tyler, let me know, what are your thoughts on it first?
My thoughts first?
Yes.
Well, let me tell you. This had the opportunity to be a great film. It really did. Which I think is why this is going to be a pretty disappointing review from us.
Yeah.
Which
it
is
had a lot of potential from a couple of areas, particularly the script, particularly the story, actually, not necessarily the script.
I wouldn't even say the story. I'd say the concept more. The concept had more potential, not the story.
And then, I don't know if I agree with that, because there are a lot of things that happen into it that, I'm gonna be honest, the first like 20 minutes, maybe half an hour, I was not into it. I was like kind of snooze fest. Like, then something happened, and this was like the first twist. This might have even been longer than half an hour. Do you remember when the first twist happened? I'm speaking of the one at the hotel.
Yeah, that was probably halfway, if not close to 3/4 through the movie. It was a long movie. So it was like 2.5 hour movie.
So probably about the hour mark then.
Probably further than that.
Okay, so
maybe, I don't know.
Keeps getting longer. Maybe between an hour and an hour and a half.
I will say it felt awfully long. It felt dreadfully long. It was. I'm
gonna say at the hour mark, there's a bunch of story stuff that happens. Okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't until that point that I was actually engaged with the film. I was like, it was a real snooze fest. It was kind of a drag. Not a lot going on. And Henry Cavill is just the best part of the movie. That's all I can really say. But like the story, what did you say it was? The concept? The concept, yes.
Yeah.
And I think even the story has a lot of potential. Like if they did it not as cheesy as they did, because we're going to get into this probably a little more. This is Biggie's biggest pet peeve, is using comedy to get out of uncomfortable situations in the script, or situations that they don't know how to get out of, so they use dumb comedy. They did that quite a bit in this movie. And so a lot of like cheesy, dumb ways of getting out of stuff, particularly towards the end. There's two scenes in particular that really threw it over the edge, where you're like, okay, this film's no longer taking itself seriously.
Yeah.
So overall, I gave it a 3 out of 5. I gave it the half star over Beekeeper this year. But that's because I genuinely thought that there was a better story and concept, as Biggie would say, to this movie than Beekeeper. Beekeeper was just so cookie cutter and basic. I just, whatever. This one, like, actually it felt original. I didn't really see where stuff was going most of the time. If you exclude the cheesiness. So that's what I'm going to say first about it.
So I gave it 2 stars out of 5. I honestly considered giving it 1 star out of 5. I hated this movie. And I think you're right. Like, well, this is what we were talking about. The use of humor to essentially get out of basically any type of good storytelling. So like in Marvel, for instance, it used to be just that they'd have the humor, right? That's just part of the Marvel humor. And obviously over time, now we've been talking about it for a while, these movies, they don't have good writers. They don't have actual writers on their teams, And so because they can't figure out where the story's going or even how to write good stories, a lot of the time, they have certain shots picked out that they want to use, and then they just kind of write as they go and they figure it out, right? And so a lot of time they just insert humor to fill in those moments that they don't know what to do with, right? So this felt a lot like that, but I think the biggest part of it was made for this audience. Lonely cat women. I think that's what made the movie so poor, just is because they didn't have the right audience. This is supposed to be a comedic spy film, kind of like, you guys remember Night and Day?
Yeah.
With Tom Cruise.
Mm-hmm.
You can take it seriously. The Tom Cruise aspects of it were really good and action packed. They were very cool. Like it was a good action spy movie, but the girl in it kind of took the dumb blonde type of role where she did not fit in that world, and that was supposed to be the comedic relief of it, right? Excuse me. So that is how you kind of cater to that audience while also making it a comedy, right? This movie tried to do that, but also thought that what they were doing with the main character was considered cool, or the spy-esque character, right? Is that making sense? Yeah. So, first of all, the Henry Cavill parts were marketed as he was marketed as the main character of the movie. He was in every trailer. He was either the first person you saw or the last person you saw. And I think in total he was in like 5 to 7 minutes of the whole movie. And do you care if I spoil it, Nick?
No, you can go ahead.
Okay. The whole plot twist here is that this girl, Ellie Conway is her name. She's an author, and she wrote these books about this spy called Argyle, and his right-hand man, who is played by John Cena. And
but you never know he's there the whole time.
Right. Yeah. You're like,
honestly,
who's he talking to?
We couldn't tell until the credits when it said
right,
John Cena.
Oh, John
like,
Cena was in this.
That's who they were talking about.
Yeah. So John Cena. So they're like, the movie starts where you think that those two are kind of the main characters of the movie. Shortly after, you find out, oh no, this is a fantasy world. It's a book that this author wrote, and then things start getting kind of weird, where events in real life are kind of being predicted by this book, these book series. By the way, these books are supposed to be good, considered good. And every time she was reading from it, I thought we were reading a child's crayon writing that he gave to his mom on Valentine's Day, she did not seem like a qualified or best-selling author. And I think that kind of goes into the whole thing with modern day Hollywood, where it's like, you guys don't earn anything. You think that you're writing great stuff. You think that just because you say something's badass, that it's badass. No, you need to prove it. So she set up to be
ass bad.
Ass bad, yes. Pretty much. And so she is her books and her are supposed to be put on this pedestal as this, this inspiring and best-selling, like the best-selling books of all time, like they go way too hard into it. Basically, she runs into this spy who saves her life, and apparently there are these bad guys after her. I'll skip through the plot because the plot really doesn't matter that much. But the main thing is, turns out that she's actually a spy. In real life, she got mind wiped, and the spy who saves her was her companion, and they're actually lovers. Now,
and she was writing about her experiences.
Exactly. So
she's Argyle in her book.
So her name is Rachel Kyle, which is, her initials are R. Kyle, Argyle. So she is supposed to be Argyle, and her boyfriend is supposed to be John Cena. And they love each other, and it's kind of insinuated that maybe Argyle and John Cena are gay. And we see them running off in the distance at the end on a boat, and it's like it almost could have been like a heart thing, like they could have been holding hands. Like
I thought they were gonna kiss, bro. I thought they were.
I thought they were too. At least holding hands, or something like that. Yeah. So they set it up that way. Also, there's a third partner who's this, Mary Sue, person of color, diversity.
Mary Sue Loop.
Mary Sue Loop. And she gets shot through the heart.
Shot through the heart. And you're too late.
She lives.
You give love a bad name.
Because plot armor. Shut up.
Singing.
This is serious.
I had to get to the part where it says you give love a bad name, though.
This is true. So plot armor. The girl gets shot in the heart, survives. So there's that. Then we have a cat, and I'm just going through some of the bad stuff first here. Then we'll go through this article because this is a review from the Mary Sue, which you could maybe guess what direction it's going to go. But then there are the aspects of well, then there's Samuel L. Jackson, and Samuel L. Jackson is Samuel L. Jackson in a movie. By the way, did you know that Samuel L. Jackson doesn't run in movies? It's actually it's in his contract that he cannot run. Think about that.
I ain't doing any of that mother effing running.
Have we ever seen Samuel L. Jackson run? I can't think of anything. Maybe in Avengers. Actually, there was that one part in Avengers where he runs out at the beginning to the helicopter and tries to shoot the helicopter down with a pistol. So that's the thing. So the entire movie, he's sitting on his ass and being Samuel L. Jackson. And there's a part later where they're trying to send like a download to him, and he's sitting in his little lair. But he's like, I don't really want to get into the plot because it's too much. But he's watching a Lakers game for the third act of this movie, and he's just going the entire time. It would cut to him, and he'd be like, every time. It's like, dude, what was the point of having you in this movie? So that was kind of just a pet peeve of me. I was like, what the frick is he doing? But they basically they cucked the what's the actor's name who played the love interest, the other spy?
Oh, his name is Aiden, but I don't know his actor name.
Yeah, he plays Hammer. What's his name from Iron Man 2? The main villain of Iron Man 2.
Sam Rockwell was the actor.
Is it Sam Rockwell?
You're talking about Hammer? Yeah, Justin Hammer.
Justin Hammer. Yeah. So it was that actor.
Sam Rockwell.
Basically, the same exact voice as Owen Wilson, but completely different face.
Yeah, my wife leaned over and she's like, "Is that Owen Wilson?" And he had a beard. He had a beard too.
They fixed his nose,
and that's what gave it away. I was looking at him and I was like, I think so. It sounds like him. And then as I was observing it after I said that, I was like, look at the nose, and it was straight. And so I said,
yeah,
no,
that's not him.
That's not him.
It's like Superman and Clark Kent. You're like, I can't tell they're different, right? But they sound like they're the same.
They've got to be different.
It's got to be somebody different. Turns out it was Owen Wilson the entire time. But no, so he was a cucked character, and he again made it seem like she was this big badass and everything. And so the entire movie, she was basically this anxious person, book writer, cat lady. What you see in this picture, basically her entire character was that. And then we were supposed to believe that she was this badass, and she eventually becomes this badass in their version of what a badass would be. There is
Are you talking about the scene?
There's a couple scenes. One of the scenes, we'll get back to the article. One of the scenes was basically Dirty Dancing with guns and Pride Parade.
Well, colored smoke grenades.
Colored smoke grenades.
Hmm.
It was whack. These two are dancing and shooting people, and it was like the epitome of Marvel humor to me. It, I just I couldn't take it seriously. There were these laughing hacks in the front too. I was like, shut up, just go, just get out of here. Actually, I'm gonna leave.
Well,
I wanted to leave. If we weren't there with our girls, I would have left probably halfway through, honestly.
Well, the thing too, it reminded me of the first scene of Guardians of the Galaxy 2 where they play Mr. Blue Sky. But
Yeah.
everybody's fighting, right? Like normal.
Yeah.
But Groot is dancing. So take that energy and combine it, and that's what this scene was.
But just pure cringe on every single level, right? And so that scene was bad enough. Then there was a scene at the end where she apparently used to be an ice skater, which was mentioned once, by the way. So if you forgot about that, you're like, okay, I guess she's an ice skater. She ice skated with knives on her shoes through oil. And so basically the scene is set up where they're trapped, and they're in they're on an what do you call it? Aircraft carrier. Rig. Well, it was like a ship. It was a big ship. And there was, by the way, CGI has just gone down the drain. It's either not enough time or just incompetent people. And I'm leaning towards not enough time because they pump these movies out. But the budget on this movie was $300 million, something like that. And the budget on Godzilla -1 was less than $100 million. And you would think that one has the bigger budget. It's pathetic. It looked like early 2000s CGI. It was awful. So anyways, they're shooting at them in this room, and all this oil starts spilling out of equipment and stuff. And the oil doesn't even look like water, like liquid. It looks like clay from VeggieTales. It looked awful. And so they're like, oh, we can't use guns in here because the whole place will blow up or go up in flames. So we got to use knives. And she's like, I have an idea. He's like, what is the idea? Give me your knives. She puts them on her feet, and then she starts skating around.
After she asks, well, I was a skater. Was I good?
Was I good?
And he was like, yeah, you were really good.
You were good. Didn't sound very confident.
Right, perfect. And then she just starts doing crazy stuff.
She was going ham on the oil. She was slicing people's throats. They were all like, whoa.
Of course.
And she didn't have a scratch on her. She didn't even have oil on her. She looked completely clean the entire time.
After sliding on her knees in a gold dress.
Yep. Yep.
Is her cat with her the whole time?
Which, by the way, what was that?
Or is this a different character?
We'll get to the cat last. The cat deserves its own conversation.
Also, side note, I was thinking about this. I don't even think that's how science works, because the only reason that sharp edges work on ice is because it's low friction, right? You can cut and gain control. On oil, it's slippery because of a lot of surface area. So you're not going to slide like you would on ice on oil because you're cutting into the ground.
Her legs would start moving a lot quicker. She'd be doing the splits. Yeah.
No, she would actually stay still. It would actually give her traction.
But it's not. She would slip. She would slip if she's running into it, though. At the beginning, she would be like, ah, and she would fall on the ground almost instantly.
Well, no, that's actually not true, because she's touching the ground, not she's got low surface area through the oil, so she's actually making contact on the ground. So like technically she'd have more control with the knives on the floor.
Probably fall flat on her face.
I guess
well,
so.
Yeah, that too. But the idea is skating on oil doesn't act the same as skating on ice. Like it's actually pretty opposite.
I think I don't even think you need to know much about science to know that you can't skate on oil.
I don't know.
You can't skate on
anything. This passed a lot of people.
Badass.
This passed a lot of people to okay this.
Oh,
okay,
I'm
so
sure
apparently
it did.
not enough people know.
and I'm sure it didn't even need to be. I don't think there was much conversation about it. Honestly, it was just like, well, that's a good idea. Let's do it.
They definitely didn't ask the AI bot or whatever that wrote She-Hulk.
Well, maybe. I don't know. What will
they didn't ask Kevin
Feige? What will make us lose the most money in a movie? Oh, okay, perfect. Let's put that in there. Yes, skating on oil. That'll work. So that happens. That's one scene, and then at the very end, it's another girl boss beats the crap out of dude. Because why would we not have that in there? And she was getting mind controlled, and she was and her boyfriend was trying to click this thing to get it to download at Samuel L. Jackson's headquarters,
and it
would just get paused and played and paused and keep going back and forth, and he'd be like, yes, while also going, this was his entire character, the entire movie. So, there was a lot of pathetic character development. There was no good plot to this movie at all. It was chock full of inserting. And here's why. It's because it's the whole idea. We played that video of the comic book store owner who said, "We don't care about you or your life. We care about the characters. We care about Spider-Man. We care about Batman. We care about all these guys. So stop writing about your life." And it's because these people don't know how to write anything else. All they know is their own pathetic lives. And that's all they put into this. So that is why this is the main character of this movie. Because Ellie Conway is a real author. And these books are actually real. And this was based on her and what she thought she wanted to, or what she wanted to be like, that is the basis of this movie. So yeah, that kind of tells you a lot. So let's read from the Mary Sue, and what they thought about Argyle. By the way, Matthew Vaughn is actually a pretty good director. So it was, for people who knew him, I didn't know much about him, but it was a surprising, like, oh, you made this movie. That's very interesting. Okay. So what makes Argyle stand out is focusing on the story of Ellie Conway, which, by the way, Bryce Dallas Howard should never play roles like this. I don't think she's good for this type. I mean, maybe it is actually good for her. I don't know.
I mean, if it keeps her away from directing The Mandalorian.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Sure.
But the story is focusing on Ellie Conway, a woman who writes a spy novel but is not a spy herself. Having that female's perspective makes all the difference.
Oh, because we haven't gotten enough of that.
Nope. Right. Set in a world split between the characters that Ellie has created in her novels and a real spy story, Argyle keeps you engaged. In over a 2-hour runtime, but continuing to tell both sides of the story. Not really. Honestly, it was just mainly one-sided. Agent Argyle might be a male model looking spy. By the way, this is kind of what bugged me about his character, besides the fact that you just like gaslighted us into thinking that this movie was about him, and it wasn't. He is definitely shoved down your face as this hot spy, hot manly spy. And it's like, okay, why is it like you want equality, but you objectify men, but you don't objectify women? Like, that seems a little one-sided. It seems a little reverse psychology there, you want women to be insufferable ugly people like what's her name from Loki, with the mullet. Like that's supposed to be
Sylvie.
Yeah, Sylvie. But then we have Henry Cavill, who's this hot stud, and that's okay. But we can't have it the opposite way. It's like, okay, interesting. All right. Don't see the logic there, but okay. So he's supposed to be this James Bond type character, with his sidekick, Wyatt, who was John Cena.
And you couldn't see him. Yeah. Hello, John Cena.
Hello, John Cena.
Hello, look like the egg roll, John Cena.
But she finds herself with a spy named Aiden, Sam Rockwell. Yep, there it is. Who's not nearly as suave or skilled as Argyle. Of course not. We can't have that. Her real life spy mission is a mess of Ellie not wanting to be involved and Aiden showing her what it actually means to be espionage. Okay. Bryan Cranston is the leader of a real organization trying to capture Ellie for what she knows. The movie manages to bring both worlds together flawlessly for the audience. I beg to differ. Whether it is the cartoonish way that Agent Argyle is described or how her novel slowly becomes a reality she finds herself in, what works about Ellie or Argyle is that it's about Ellie at its core. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why it's gaslighting, because that's not what we were sold. We were not sold Ellie. We were sold Argyle. And this is supposed to be a movie for men, right? It's a spy action movie. You would think you'd want to sell it towards that audience, right? You would think, but no.
And they're going to say, look at all these sales or these ticket sales from, men and everything wanting to see this. It's like, we were tricked.
Maybe first weekend. Actually, I don't think it made that much. I think it's surprisingly low. It's actually really bad, which is good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like, don't go see a movie in January or February, because that's the dumpster for movies, Hollywood. Usually bad movies come around that time of year. So, and though Vaughn's work in the spy world is not something new, he's bringing. Okay, okay. I am okay. This is another thing. They tried to tie in the Kingsmen at the end, or they did. This is like something also kind of bothering me about movies, is that everything has to be this ginormous universe. Like the end of Transformers was the last one was bringing in the G.I. Joes. It's like, why can't it just be what it is, So they tried to drag in Kingsmen, which are amazing movies, and make those related to this. So that kind of sucks. That just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. But we haven't actually seen them interact, so hopefully that doesn't actually happen. I've talked heavily about how they're responsible for my job. Okay, whatever. But I do recognize that the movies fall into the sexist tropes that spy movies often champion. What Argyle does is it erases that completely from the narrative, mainly through Ellie Conway's keyboard. There you go.
They're right there. It does erase it.
Yep.
You want some numbers for this?
Yeah.
So the budget for this movie, take a guess.
It was 300 million, right?
200 million. Guess what opening weekend was?
10 million.
17 and a half.
Oh gosh.
Big boy flop.
We're gonna make more money than this. Another movie we make more money from.
Nice.
And that's what
now. That's the new metric. Does it make more money than Talking Nerds?
Than Talking Nerds, yeah.
We should have a thermometer chart that we just fill up with movie titles that we beat.
Yeah. It's not okay. She's the main character and a woman who really gives off that reader insert feel as she stumbles her way through the spy world. And there we have the problem. Rockwell and Howard use Ellie's fish out of water energy to their advantage by playing up the comedy, if you'll call it that, of any given moment off each other, and it makes for stellar performances. So a couple things here. First of all, the reader insert is that idea that they can't write anything else other than their own life. That's their reader insert. That is not our insert. That is not how the majority of your audience actually feels. We don't care about a cat lady who is anxious about things in her life and turns out to be, better than she actually is when it's not believable. It's like She-Hulk. We don't care. Why are you writing this? And I thought there was no chemistry at all, honestly, between Rockwell and Howard. Rockwell looks like he wanted to kill himself the entire time.
I mean, he said he wanted to kill Ellie Conway.
His face never changed. Like, he was happy, he was sad, he was trying to make a joke, he was trying to be like, all playful. He was being serious. It's like it was basically Echo, which is like, I know you're a good actor, so maybe he just wasn't really feeling it, but no energy at all, and definitely no chemistry between the two.
I felt like the more the movie went on, the more beta Aiden became. Like he saves her from the train at the beginning, right? And that's like his peak, like alpha, right? Like he's a dude. But then like as she like regains like who she is in her memory, it was very clear that he was the beta male in the relationship, where it was like she was the badass one and he was just hanging out to be like cool, like like with her. So yeah. Oh no, here we go.
Yeah. The cat was the true hero of the movie, and I called it. The cat defeated the villain. In the end, it was that moment. It was like, okay, Nick Fury, he's got this cool eye patch. The entire MCU for the first 10 years or whatever, we're like, oh, I wonder how he got his eye scratched out. Oh, turns out it was a cat. They basically did the same thing. In a different way, but they couldn't figure out how to defeat the villain. So let's throw a awful CGI cat. I mean, like a joke. It was a joke how bad the cat looked. At his face, and he'll drop his gun.
Apple Vision, the new Apple Vision Pro.
Yeah,
and it does the eyes, but it's not really your eyes. That's what it looked like when it was in that pod. Like it looked like it was, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh my gosh. It's like a Spy Kids movie or something.
Yeah.
It was
nice.
yeah,
Good one.
It was what's his face? George Lopez. It was George Lopez. The cat. Yes. So
MODOK.
The cat saved the day, and the entire time everybody was worried about the cat. It's like, oh my gosh. It's an awful trope that really needs to go away. The pet sidekick, that basically saves the day. What was a movie recently? We just talked about it. Had a lot of cats. Oh, that's right, The Marvels. Yes. It didn't work there either. Same exact
Yeah, they
situation.
ate everybody.
Yeah, they ate everybody. Yeah. Huh. So the cat was the savior of the movie, and everybody loved it. Everybody ate it up. The aspect of Argyle that is truly the best does come from the fact that Ellie's cat Alfie is not used as an cats suck joke. Often in movies, we are subjected to lies about
oh my gosh.
We are subjected to lies about our feline friends. And cat owners continue to get the short end of the stick. This article
Who cares?
I'm starting to guess that cats are writing everything in Hollywood. And they're sick and minded, and they're trying to control us all.
Well, the author of this article certainly had passion writing this. it's starting to derail here a bit. Karen, I think it's time to wrap this up. While Vaughn worked with dogs in the Kingsman franchise, Alfie's role in Argyle is different. If you say so. I mean, these are the people. These are the people. Our feline friends. I mean, must we say more? It's yeah. He grounds Ellie to her real life. The one thing she wants to leave behind, in a lot of ways, it makes Ellie instantly relatable. She's just a woman trying to write with her cat. That's something I can definitely relate to. And I'm not alone. I'm not alone in that thinking.
Copium.
No, you are correct. You are not alone in that thinking. All of you hags in Hollywood think that way. So, yeah. A wonderfully fun time. The reality is that Argyle is just very.
Don't be shy.
Don't be shy. The reality is that Argyle is just very fun. Leaving the theater felt the same as when I watched Kingsman. Yeah, okay.
No, it didn't.
No, it did not. I wanted more. I needed to know when I'd be back with Ellie Conway and her cat. Oh, there you go. Whether or not Alfie got all the treats because of their journey. Who's asking for this? Nobody's asking for this. Argyle instantly made me care about these characters, and I want to know more about them. It's a skill that Vaughn. Okay. Yep. I truly hope we get to revisit the magic. Yeah. This is why I hated this movie. Because it was about cat ladies, poor lonely cat ladies that fantasize about being actually having a good life, I guess.
Yeah. And like that's what the thing, like the whole beginning is like her mom is like, oh, you gotta find somebody, you gotta find a love, you gotta get a man. And she's like, no, mom, I don't need no man. I've got my cat and I just want to write. And then she like gets on the train and there's like this super like good looking, sexy, suave man. And you're like, he's like walking down the train and she like looks at him. She's like, and then he's like, is this seat taken? And it's like right across from her. And she's like, oh yeah, definitely. Someone's definitely sitting here. And he's like, all right, cool. And like he keeps walking and she was like, looks back to like find him. And it's just like, it's like they're like trying to project what, I don't know. It's like women just don't want that.
This is why you're sad and lonely and have cat problems.
I can tell you that women don't want to be lonely. For a fact. I know it for a fact.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Hollywood does not know how to write women.
No.
At all. Or men. They don't know how to write anybody.
Oh yeah. Really. They don't know how to write.
They don't know how to write.
Yeah. And that's too, I mean, they don't know how to write women because, they haven't been doing it as long as they have men,
They know how to write every other gender except for the only real genders.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think they know how to write.
Well, that's my point. Is like there are no other genders other than the two genders. So they know how to write their sad lives, and that's it. And that's what we got. So yeah. That was abysmal. I couldn't believe what I was watching. And
so hopefully we'll cleanse the bad taste on Thursday with a good movie.
Hopefully. I'm excited for next week's podcast because we have an exciting topic and I can't wait to get there. I won't maybe I'll tease it at the end, I guess. All right. So speaking of masculinity and femininity, toxicity, apparently we are toxic and our side of fandom is toxic. And this isn't coming from just anybody. I mean, it is, but this is coming from George R. Martin, the author of A Song of Ice and Fire. So recently, I didn't know this, but he has his own blog. So he writes every day on his blog, and yet it's been 4,587 days since there was a new Song of Ice and Fire book. And there's 2 more books that he's supposed to write in this series. And we are not seeing them. So he has time to write on the internet, but not actually write what people want to discuss. It's honestly very hypocritical.
It's because in between each sentence, he's grabbing for some Cheetos.
True. But the thing is, like, he's saying that there's no positive conversations anymore. Nobody talks about what they love anymore. Nobody talks about good stuff anymore. It's because there's no good stuff to talk about. And you aren't even writing stuff. So you're kind of part of the problem, buddy. So he wrote a blog. I guess we'll read it. I'll read it quickly here. In years past, I would often do a not a blog. That's his blog. It's called Not a Blog. Very original. On or about New Year's. Oh, okay. So he's even lazy about his blogs too. He only writes them once a year. You have a blog and you write once a year. All right. Looking back over the year that was ending and ahead to the year to come. This year, though, as I reflected on the year we just had lived through, I found I had no appetite for living through any of that again. That's a little dark. 2023 was a nightmare of a year for the world and the nation, and for me and mine, both professionally and personally. I'm very glad that it is over. Also, this guy sounds kind of like this, but I'm not going to read like that. So
I like the paper bag character, the paper bag.
Yes. Unfortunately, so far, 2024 looks to be even worse. What? There is war everywhere. Okay, here we go. Ukraine and Gaza dominate the news, but there is war in, okay, blah, 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 all these places, whatever. Meanwhile, the U.S. grows more polarized every day. Hate is rising. Democracy is under threat. Millions of Americans have swallowed the lie that the 2020 election was stolen. We won't get into that here on YouTube.
We're not a political podcast, so we're gonna just keep moving.
Wink, wink. Newspeak has taken over political discourse. Cancel culture is destroying lives and careers. You're part of that culture. And we have a disgraced, indicted, venomous ex-president winning primaries despite openly declaring that he will be a dictator on day one. Okay. All right. Sure. Okay.
If you just read through that sentence, it's just so funny.
Yeah.
Okay. We said the quiet part out loud, George. His last attempt to overthrow the government failed. Oh, I thought January 6th would be brought up. But some of his more ardent supporters are now saying that the next time they will bring... Okay, why are you talking about politics? Just write your books, you idiot. Get off your fat butt and write the books, George, before you die.
Well, he needs to be on his fat butt to write.
Well,
nah, he needs a standing desk. He needs to shed some weight.
That's true.
What a whiny little pig. Just write your books and shut up.
Squealing pig.
It is hard to escape the feeling that we are living in the Weimar Republic. That must be an old person thing. I don't know that. Boomer. I am famous.
Okay,
boomer. I am famous and I am wealthy. And big flex.
Oh.
And I have a big platform.
Yeah, because you needed to hold yourself. Badass,
right? True.
That's what that means, George.
Yeah, you have a big platform. You do. You're not wrong. You are famous. You do have a big platform. Why don't you use it to make positive influence then on society? If you're so depressed, how about you write your books and spread some joy? That seems simple. Whatever that is, but I've grown more and more cynical about this supposed power that people keep telling me I have. Has anything I have ever written ever changed a single mind, a single vote? Why? What?
Probably the opposite of what you think or what you want.
What does Game of Thrones have to do with American politics? Absolutely nothing.
Well, Cersei and that other
And Jamie?
Yeah, Cersei and Jamie, and what's her name and her brother.
I think they represent the different branches of the US government and how they're in bed together, even though they're related.
Could be. Change my mind. I see no evidence of that because there is none, buddy. It doesn't matter. The era.
No, this is fishing at its max. He's like, yeah, people tell me I've got a big platform. I don't see it. I don't see it. Like, what have I ever done to affect people? Nothing.
And then
Come
it's
on,
like,
guys.
It's like crickets. Right, guys? Right?
Right, guys? Right?
It's not a blog. The era of rational discourse seems to have ended, and death is everywhere. Okay, so he's going to get into some death here now. Okay, all right. For that matter, the entire human race may be forgotten. If climate change... Wow, he's touching everything here. Okay. Ooh. I mean, he is a big guy, so, if climate change does not get us, war will. Too many countries have nukes. Sigh. Well...
Yeah, there'll be tsunamis when he hops into the pool.
Well, I take solace where I can. In Chocolate Thrones... I'm sure you do eat a lot of Chocolate Thrones.
Yes, sir.
He had like a brand deal with like a chocolate company to make a bunch of mini Chocolate Thrones, and he's like, just send them all to me. No one's gonna buy them anyways.
I will buy them all for
you. In books, in films and television shows, though even there, toxicity. Okay, we finally get to what we're trying to get to the heart of, right? It used to be fun talking about our favorite movies and films and books, and having spirited debates with fans who saw things different. We still can, by the way. Just because we disagree on something doesn't mean we can't have spirited conversations. That's kind of a big part of fandom. Is just having that conversations. We are open to have those conversations. You guys are closed-minded. You guys refuse to accept that there are other opinions other than your own.
You guys partake in cancel culture, which I believe he mentioned at the beginning.
Exactly. But somehow, in this age of social media, it is no longer enough to say, I did not like books X or film Y, and here's why. Critics have been around since the beginning of time, by the way. So I don't know what your point there is.
Yeah, I mean, the philosophers who, that were scientists had haters and critics. They're like, oh, the Earth's round, and actually the sun is the center of our solar system. They're like, ha, you're stupid. You don't think that. The Earth's flat. Ha, you're dumb. We're actually the center of the universe.
Yeah.
It's been since the beginning of everything. There's always been haters and critics.
Yep. Now social media is ruled by anti-fans. Oh, I love that rhetoric too. I mean, remember the time that we were told that we weren't Star Wars fans by Ewan McGregor because we didn't like a character in Star Wars?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anti-fans.
Yep. We're anti-fans who would rather talk. Right. Is ruled by anti-fans who would rather talk about the stuff they hate than the stuff they love. I beg to differ. We talk a lot of the stuff we love all the time.
It's not any new stuff, which is why
exactly. It's few and far between because there's nothing good anymore. Now, I already said that. Okay. And delight in dancing on the graves of anyone whose film has flopped. That's just a lie. We don't delight.
Can I add an asterisk to that?
Yeah.
I only enjoy the graves of the people who wish on our demise.
Exactly.
When they say stuff like, yes, we love to dehumanize men and emasculate men. And And then the movie flops because the target audience was the said men that they want to emasculate and dehumanize.
Exactly.
I rejoice.
It's insulting. It's insulting, truly. And you expect us to like something that is insulting us. You know? And no, we don't delight in this. We are actually very upset about this because we're passionate fans. We are fans. We are true fans. The reason there are so many other people in this, the reason it's so big is because there are a lot of fake fans in fandom that are only there to talk about representation and diversifying. I mean, everybody involved in these projects are not actual nerds. You could watch a multitude of videos of behind the scenes and interviews from all these different projects, and all they freaking talk about is diversity, equity, and inclusion. So no, we don't delight in the demise of something that we actually love. It's awful. And you know, that's why we talk about it, is to actually make a difference. So no, you're wrong. Liar. And don't get me started on immigration.
Oh,
we're not making you get started on immigration,
we're not
George.
You started on it.
He's like, if you insist. We are a nation of immigrants, yet millions of us have now decided we hate immigrants. Not true. None of us here. Do you guys hate immigrants?
Yeah. I mean, no. No, I do not. My great grandparents came from Germany.
Weren't we all? Weren't we all?
We were all from.
Weren't we all immigrants at one point, right? Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of America, is that it is a melting pot. It is not one race. It is a melting pot of multiple people, and we are one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. Let's go.
Yeah. And one thing that I
Samuel L. Jackson.
And before I forget to say, R.I.P. Toby Keith, a true patriot, who passed away today. So the God bless the red, white, and blue.
Yes, sir.
It is also sad. Yes, it is, George. We can agree there. Now that I have made you all depressed and angry as I am, let me close with something nice. I don't think this is going to be nice. When word of Howard's death goes out, got out. Howard's death. Who's Howard? Who are we talking about?
The guy that he was.
Oh, did I skip over that? Okay, whatever. I got a lot of texts and emails of condolences from mutual friends and fans. One of them was Stephen Paul Judd, the amazingly talented screenwriter and director who worked with us on the adaptation of Mary Margaret Road Grader. That sounds like something I'd never watch. That will be going out on the film festival circuit real soon now. Why do you write it in all capitalized? Like, that was weird. Okay. Steve wrote, "Oh no, I'm so sorry. My heart is heavy for your loss. In my tribe, in the old beliefs, they said we would go west when we walked into the spirit world. Who knows if that's true, but if it's not, or if it is, then Howard is on his journey west now." How nice. Okay. Howard would like nothing better, I think. Current mood, alien depressed.
I like how he said more on that in a later blog post, but he only writes once a year. So
more of that next year.
Next year.
Hopefully optimistic. Current mood. Most likely depressed or dead. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, so Toxicity is growing. It used to be fun. That's yeah, George. You're the reason. Get on that book. So yeah, you know, I'd say fandom is honestly starting to thrive, because more and more people are waking up to the monstrosity that is modern day Hollywood and woke culture and DC and Marvel comics that have been going down the drain. Mainstream is out and the independents are in. The Iron Age has begun and we will not stop. No, sir. Let the independents take over. Let Hollywood burn. And you know what? It's like a phoenix from the ashes grows new life, and we will flourish once again as a fandom.
The thing.
The thing.
Do the thing. Do the thing.
Do the
Come
thing.
back.
So I'm optimistic. Despite all this bad stuff happening, I only see good things because the bad stuff's flopping and the good stuff is, well, surprise, surprise, doing well. So,
it's funny how that works.
Yeah. So, George, you can either write your books or shut up and sit down. I mean, you're already sitting down, but you know what I mean. So, I just talked about something depressing, apparently. Let's talk about something exciting. Gina Carano is finally filing a lawsuit against Lucasfilm and Disney, which is exciting. After my 20 years of building a career from scratch and during the regime of former Disney CEO Bob Chapek, Lucasfilm made this statement on Twitter, terminating from The Mandalorian. Gina Carano is not currently employed by Lucasfilm, and there are no plans for her to be in the future. Nevertheless, her social media posts denigrating people based on their cultural and religious identities are abhorrent and unacceptable. And nothing could be further from the truth. The truth is that I was being hunted down from everything I posted to every post I liked because I was not in line with the acceptable narrative of the time. My words were consistently twisted to demonize and dehumanize me as an alt-right wing extremist. It was a bullying smear campaign aimed at silencing, destroying, and making an example out of me. The thing is, I never even use aggressive language. I shared thought-provoking quotes, pictures, memes, and occasionally I use my own words. Not with aggression, but with respect and the occasional comedy to keep the mood light in dark times. The whole bippity boopity bop thing. You guys remember that?
Vaguely, yeah.
Those are her pronouns.
Yeah.
Look with your own eyes at what I posted and ask yourself, for example, where did I compare Republicans to the Jewish people in the Holocaust? I didn't. Ask yourself why they were calling me a racist. Was there any merit behind that or history of it whatsoever? No. Look at what I was called. Look at why I was called a transphobe for making droid noises from Star Wars. Beep, bop, boop. Was obviously directed at the online bullies and did not in any way denigrate transgender people. Were my questions about masks, lockdowns, or forced vaccines okay to ask and push this subject into the light? Should we not have been allowed to publicly discuss these topics without being harassed or censored? Absolutely. Hollywood says they support female representation and equal rights. Why then were my male co-stars permitted to speak without harassment and re-education courses or termination? Do you guys remember that? She was supposed to take a re-education course.
Yep.
But I was not afforded the same right to exercise my freedom of speech. Artists do not sign away our rights as American citizens when we enter into employment. I've spoken to all my co-stars since I was fired, and there's nothing but care and kind words between us. I respect their right and freedom of speech. So yeah, there's more, but essentially, I mean, this is the answer to George R.R. Martin right there.
She's taking the fight to him.
Yeah, we are not hateful. We are not aggressive. Comedy is should be lighthearted. It should make fun of everybody. And it is good to speak the truth about these things. Because as Elon Musk said, I don't even know if she said it in here. But he said, I wish I could remember it exactly, but like, why do people say that they're doing good while being evil? Essentially along those lines. That's Hollywood. And that's the people that are trying to shut us down. And those are the people who are trying to rewire our brains, indoctrinate. That's the word. So good for her. I'm proud of Gina Carano, and I back Gina Carano. So stuff it, Hollywood.
Make Star Wars great again.
Make Star Wars great again. Yeah, so that's exciting news. And that. Any more thoughts from you guys?
No, I mean, you're absolutely right. We've got the people who are in charge of giving us content and controlling our fandoms. They don't respect the people that made them in charge anymore.
Right.
And I think it's coming back to bite them in the butt because as we'll see, like the only reason he was probably feeling this way is because of all the garbage hate that he got from Game of Thrones going down the drain.
Yeah.
If I'm being real, you know. He's probably still feeling the pressure from that because he didn't finish the books, so that's on him, right?
Yeah.
That he let it continue without the books, but also
Right.
I'm pretty sure he was on the team helping guide them.
He was, yeah.
Yeah.
But he was they basically had it, and they said, "Do you think this is good?" And he signed off on it.
Right.
So
exactly.
He didn't really have an influence on the final seasons as a writer, but he had the sign off, I think.
Yeah. And so when you attach your name to something, you're gonna get flack for it if it doesn't appease the fans. And I say appease not because we're an angry mob or riot, but because there's an expectation set when you have great things like season 1 through 4, right? And maybe even 1 through 5.
5 was pretty good.
So like there's an expectation there, and you have to appease the expectation, not the angry mob, the expectation, and it's never met. And so I think that's what we're seeing now with all of this new stuff is our expectations aren't being met on the quality front. We talked about CGI just a little bit. It's not good these days. And as I'm watching like the late 90s, early 2000 movies, holy crap, they look so much better. There's a new tweet going around of Arkham Knight versus the new Suicide Squad.
I was thinking about starting up those games again.
Harley Quinn in the same costume looks way better from 2005 than it does in 2024. It's insane.
And she doesn't look like a SJW like she does in the new one. She literally, you could like, I guarantee that was modeled after somebody on the team because just the facial expressions and everything. I'm like, you're a real person. 100%.
Someone wanted to be Margot Robbie, but anyways,
just the face, like irks me.
Yeah, so the quality front isn't meeting expectations. The script front and the character development are not meeting fans' expectations. The world building that is supposed to be there is not meeting fans' expectations. They're not hitting any points to meet our expectations as a fandom, as nerds, as normal human beings. And it's showing. And I think that's why this article that George wrote is just very telling, because he's blaming what? He's blaming politics. He's blaming war. He's blaming climate change. He's blaming all these things that we don't have any control over.
Yeah.
It's like, no, me hating what you wrote or what you signed off on in his case is not because of all of this crap. It's just because you did a bad job and you can't take responsibility for it.
Well, it's ironic too, because you're right. Essentially, nothing that he's created has made fans really angry or upset. But he's trying to stay relevant. He's trying to be in the conversation. It's like, dude, just shut up and write the book.
Write your book. That's how you stay relevant.
Right. You don't have to be in this conversation. I'm sorry that you're depressed. Write a book. Like, be active. Use your mind, you know?
And eat a carrot stick. Like, that will, like, all joking aside, that will help your mood if you actually eat better.
Good for you if you just ate a carrot stick. That's what that's what people are saying.
I'm not saying that.
But just get a desk treadmill so you're like walking while you're writing.
Right.
Like, come on, dude.
Yeah. No, but like even on just I know I probably harp on this a lot, but like the writing process here, like how things used to be is there was a script, a story written way in advance They worked out all the CGI shots ahead of time. They had a budget. They stuck to it. Okay, these shots are going to be our big things, so we need to make these CGI. The rest can be practical effects. We can plan this all out accordingly. It's all going to work in cohesion with each other. Everybody's going to be on board. Everybody's going to know what's going on. We're not going to be surprised, and we're going to make a good product here. Now it's okay. Let's generate some crazy scenes that are going to be, super CGI or whatever. Let's make those. We'll spend all our money on that. Actually, let's spend our money on making everything CGI, down to the glasses or facial structure. Literally everything is CGI. Apparently, the glasses on Falcon and Falcon and the Winter Soldier are CGI. Like you could just use glasses, that would probably work just fine. But no,
there's these things called props.
Yeah.
And
right.
Costumes.
So all
they've used all the props for themselves.
Right. Yeah. All that stuff is done first. Then the script, right, or the what do you call it? The screenwriter, I guess you would say. They are writing this stuff based on surrounding. Okay, you have these key scenes. Write a story around that. Make it up. And they're even told that you shouldn't read the comics or whatever it's based on. Don't read the source material. Just ignore that. Literally, they're telling these things in interviews. You can go watch them. They're literally being told not to go to the source material. So they're just making this stuff up around these certain scenes in the movies. All the money spent on that. And then at the 11th hour, they decide, oh, this doesn't look good. Let's just scrap this and do something really quick and then release it. That's why everything looks like shit, because that's what it is, And so it's just this modge podge of random crap from random people who don't know what to, either are rushed for time, don't have enough time to do quality work, or just very unqualified people. And that's the sad state of Hollywood. So you betcha we're going to be pissed.
We would like to announce the Talking Nerd Studios. No,
we're going to make our own movies, guys. It's going to be great.
It's going to be great. It's going to be brilliant. Yep. We're going to do it right.
And one thing, that one video you sent us, the interview with JRR, where he was saying, if you just don't like it,
that's
then,
JRR,
just don't watch it.
George
George R. Yeah. That's what I meant. Yeah.
He wishes he was Tolkien.
Yeah, he wish.
Right. Yeah. He was saying, like,
Tolkien,
if you just don't like it, then, just don't watch it. And it's like, that's exactly what we're doing, is we don't want to watch it. So you're hypocritical.
There was a comic book writer, same thing. She's like, if you don't like it, don't read it. And then months later, nobody's buying my book.
Why is anybody reading my comic?
You literally told us not to read it. What do you mean? Yeah, these people are they don't understand consequences of your words. And not to say you can't have freedom of speech, because that's what we are saying. You should have freedom of speech. But words still have consequences, and they should be said, and you are free to say them, but don't be surprised when people act a certain way because of them.
Yeah.
So if you tell somebody to piss off, they're going to piss off. If you tell somebody they're a racist, they're like, all right, I guess whatever. I don't like being called a racist, so I'm not going to watch.
I'm not a racist. And they get a little aggressive. Maybe you shouldn't say that to people.
Right. And the funniest part is that, there are people like us, or Nerdrotic, Critical Drinker, who are voicing their opinions, but the majority of us just are giving up and not, just whatever, ignoring you. And you act like we're this toxic fandom that is complaining about everything. Most of us aren't saying anything. We're just not watching your stuff, and that's what you're pissed about, So I don't know. It's all backwards.
Yep.
So next week, we're going to talk about fun stuff, guys. We're going to talk about positive, not depressing stuff. We are going to be going through our picks for the best fight scenes in film. Look forward to that next week. We'll probably, I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. It might be a little longer just because we're going to be going through a bunch of clips, but we'll see. But that'll be next Tuesday around 7:30 Central here on YouTube and Twitch. We're back on Twitch, which I think they're allowing dual streams again. So go check us out there. You can hit the link tree below and find all the links to all our stuff, including our Discord server, which you can join and play Bluey's video games. He's got 2 games out now. One's a 2D version of the game. One's a 3D version of the game with some extra mechanics. So go check that out. And we tonight will be playing Sea of Thieves. So if you're interested, hop on the Discord and join us. So we will be hanging out there. We will be streaming on Twitch and YouTube as well. So go check that out and go follow us on our socials. And with that, we'll catch you next week.
See you.
Peace out.
Peace.